Joel Gashagaza describes himself as a motivated person who wants to make the world a better place, starting with his home country of Rwanda. His family moved there 3 years after the genocide. In a high school originally built to support orphans of the genocide, he met an American doctor who took interest and helped him come to the States for college, the same college the doctor's son had attended, Wingate University.
I was overwhelmed. Everything was new to me, from elevators to anything, because I hadn't really seen a lot of things in Rwanda that United States have.
Joel says getting involved helped him move out of his comfort zone and get adjusted to the culture in the United States, from chemistry club, international club, to student ministry.
Through doing that, it kind of really changed me, the way I looked at life and the way I looked at other people.
A biology major, Joel has recently been accepted to the Oregon Leadership Development Institute, a fellows program for college graduates. After that, he wants to attend grad school and get his master's in public health.
The reason why it shows that is that back home there is a need for that. There's some diseases that are not here in America anymore, but that we still struggle with in Africa. So public health will give me opportunity to teach about these diseases, like how to prevent people from, let's say, getting malaria.
Joel says the person who first walked on Wingate's campus in 2012 is not the person that will walk out. He says the university has made him a better person, holding true to its motto of faith, knowledge, and service.
Not only did they teach me, biology, chemistry, and everything, but Wingate has taught me what it means to serve people, to live for something bigger than myself.
I'm Rocky Boston. I'm a fourth-year pharmacy student at Wingate and an alum of 2009. I'll be graduating in May. Wingate, I think, for me, was a great mixture of, it's a little far away from home, far enough away from maybe the parents and kind of things that were familiar to be exciting, but close enough to come home and do laundry on the weekends, that sort of thing. It was a nice distance for me, but apart from the distance, it was the atmosphere that I felt when I came on campus. It was that perfect smaller university feel that I was looking for, the more intimate classroom setting. I felt like I could stand out and be a leader and develop leadership skills while going through undergraduate school, but it was large enough of a university to be a part of things that were bigger than myself. A prime example being my involvement with Habitat for Humanity of Union County. I was able through the University Community Assistance Network, to be involved with Habitat for Humanity. So I would actually organize student groups to go out and sling hammers. My wife and I both were involved with Habitat for Humanity of Union County in our time at Wingate, and we got to thinking, and we had a mutual friend. He kind of put a bug in our ear and reminded us that, hey, you all might be a good candidate family, a good partner family, as Habitat calls their partner families, to apply for this program wherein you might qualify to have your home built and to help build your home with friends and family in the community. We spent a year or so working on our neighbors' homes. The way that Habitat for Humanity of Cabarrus County works, by and large, is to build whole communities. So they revitalize whole neighborhoods, whole areas of the county. Upon graduating, I took a job as a pharmacy technician at Carolinas Healthcare System Northeast here in Concord. And I got to see what pharmacists were doing in the healthcare setting in a hospital, what technicians did, how they interacted with physicians and nurses and with one another, and really found my passion there. I think if I had to point to a light bulb moment, it would be a time where I was making IV medications in our IV room. And I got to really wondering what this medication was doing and how it was helping this patient. It's been the greatest challenge of my life, truly. Something that's made me much better in all avenues of my life, in terms of work-life balance, in terms of being a father and being a husband and being a student. I've accepted a position as a first-year resident, a PGY1 resident at Caramont Regional Medical Center. It's in Gastonia, North Carolina. So I'll be completing that one-year commitment residency, particularly focusing on areas of critical care and emergency medicine. It's been a fantastic challenge, a very rich experience. to take on and to be at the end of now and be ready to go into a career as a pharmacist.
Nellie Dimoff doesn't exactly give off the vibe of a typical college student.
But I recall, even before she was in class, seeing her walk across campus and always wondering, like, what's like her story?
That story involves post-Soviet Ukraine, the Amish country, and the poise and smarts of a diplomat. But before we get to that, we need to explore the next chapter in the life of Wingate senior Nellie Dimoff. This fall, Dimoff enters the master's program at the prestigious Patterson School of Diplomacy and International Commerce at the University of Kentucky on a full ride. Only 35 to 40 students get admitted each year.
I was really, really excited, of course, because I had been crossing my fingers just to get into Patterson, but I did not even dare dream of a scholarship or anything like that.
Dimoff will bring a unique perspective to Patterson, one of the top schools in the country for future foreign diplomats.
When we think about diplomacy and what happens if it fails, we generally have to think about it in hypothetical terms. You know, if A happens, then X will happen, or whatever. And people try to imagine what it's going to be like. But I think for me, I don't really have to imagine it because I know, because I was there.
Dimoff spent the first 5 years of her life in the Russian-speaking portion of Ukraine. This was after the fall of the Berlin Wall, which led to impoverished conditions in the region.
And people went to bed having financial security, and they woke up paupers. They woke up with nothing. And how do you create a life out of nothing? Where do you go? Your money's not worth anything.
Her family had little.
There were shortages everywhere, even food shortages, where you couldn't go into a store and take it for granted that you could pick up some sour cream or mayonnaise or butter or whatever. We had those things for holidays, but you couldn't guarantee that you'd go in there any day and be able to find those things.
A lack of money eventually drove her parents to leave for the United States.
When we left the country, both of my parents, and to this day, of course, they've never gotten it and they never will, but when we were leaving, both of my parents were still waiting for 6 months worth of paychecks. Well, how do you live for half a year when no money's coming in?
They immigrated to Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, the Amish country, where she spent the next 8 years before moving to Union County. Ultimately, she found her way to Wingate, where she's excelled as a history student.
Got the impression it wasn't just a class she was taking. She was interested in the subject. She was interested in discussing with other students what they had learned, etc., which is, a faculty member's dream.
Dimoff's dreams include improving international relations as a member of the Foreign Service. Her diverse background will help.
Because of my background, I've been pretty good at going from one culture to another, adjusting to people's mentalities, because that's a huge part of your culture also.
Well, her desire is to be in the diplomatic corps, and I can see her, she as a diplomat.
Welcome to Wingate. My name is Gabby. I'm a senior biology major here. Gabby is a science-loving, cat-loving, person-loving individual who absolutely loves Wingate. I've changed so much since freshman year, and I know, I still have friends from freshman year, and they're like, wow, you have grown so much. Did we make these in lab last time? Mm-hmm. A lot of my development has really come from my professors, though. My freshman year, my intro-level bio teacher was Dr. Fox, actually. She's my advisor as well. But we really worked closely during my freshman/sophomore year just so I can kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And that's when I started to do research with her. The research that we've been doing is with breast cancer in particular, but we look at the various adhesion properties and migration potential of the breast cancer cells. I would really like to be a professor, just because Dr. Fox and all the other biology professors have been just so great with me, and I really like how their job allows them to lecture, but as well as apply their research in their lab. So we're really in a time of change and growth here at the university. Well, when I started freshman year, I was much more introverted, going with the flow, going to classes, just the bare minimum. Sophomore year is when I just decided to, hey, I'm here for a reason. I can be doing a lot more with my time. So let me just go for it and start getting involved. So sophomore year and junior year, I was a residential assistant, or an RA. It was a really great experience. I think that's kind of what got my foot in getting involved on campus, just because with the role of an RA, like, you have to maintain the health and safety of the environment, but you also have to be friends with the residents. I am also a presidential ambassador, so when we have alumni and donors and other special events on campus, I'll assist the president with that. I've been an ambassador for the past 2 years. We've done a lot of great programs. I've met a lot of really honorable people. I got to eat a lot of good food too with all the events. But it's just a really fun resource to have on campus, definitely. I'm also a tour guide. So as a tour guide, I'll take prospective students and their families out on tours. It's really nice just to show them, you know, what Wingate is to me, and for them to kind of create what they want Wingate to be for them. I always tell students when I give them on tours, yeah, I've been here for 4 years, now they're gonna kick me out to make room for everyone else, but I wish I had another 4 years.
She didn't start out wanting to be an educator, but discovered a profession and found an area of the country she loved.
I thought I would move back up north after a few years of getting experience here, but that didn't happen.
Kelly Burgess got her first degree in sociology and criminal justice from the State University of New York at Geneseo, east of Buffalo, where she grew up. Today, she has 5 diplomas on her office wall. Her most recent advanced degree, a Doctor of Education from Wingate University.
Every time I finish a degree, I say I'm done. And then I get a new job and realize I don't know enough and I want to do better. Who's doing your choreography? You're making up your own?
In March, Burgess became Assistant Superintendent of Kannapolis City Schools, where she spent the last 16 years. She oversees curriculum and instruction and works with all schools in the district. The promotion, she says, likely would not have come without the EDD.
It was definitely worth it, being at Wingate, where we could have that personal atmosphere and make connections in a really supportive environment was very beneficial.
In her case, Wingate came to her. Several years ago, Kannapolis City School Superintendent asked local universities if they would offer classes for senior leadership to get their doctorates in school superintendency. WU beat out other schools. And for 2 years, Wingate professors came to the Kannapolis City Schools campus and taught classes. A cohort of 12 started the program. Here they are with their families. All but 3 have completed degrees.
We liked that Wingate had a practical emphasis to their instruction. Their professors were practicing, many of them were practicing school or district leaders or had experience with that, and they taught us how to become future superintendents or district leaders.
On a tour, Burgess showed us their cyber campus. For one of their projects in their EDD coursework, they developed an online learning program. The assignment became the program they're now using in Kannapolis City Schools. They call it ICANN.
It was nice being able to move at your own pace.
For Burgess, 13 years pursuing higher education, a bachelor's, 2 masters, and a doctorate, she says she couldn't have done it without the support of family. Wingate made a difference in her life. She's making a difference in others' lives.
I would say that I use the people around me to make me better. I think I try to build consensus with the people that I surround myself with, because if they are some of the smartest people I know. So if we can get on the same page and decide on an initiative or a policy or a direction we want to head, we use everybody's area of expertise to get it done.